Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts, and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look again on the gold market. So here, actually, the upside performance that we discussed recently started, not from the minor butterfly on the hourly chart, but in general, direction and the approximate area where it should start, that we discussed recently, was more or less correct. So currently, we have few interesting and important moments that we need to take into consideration. So first of all, speaking on a general background that we have currently, informational background, fundamental background, it is new headache to the Biden administration and Fed, because if within the recent few weeks we have heard only about the Ukraine and Russian invasion, currently this topic, at least temporarily, is taken out the table, and investors crowdly starting turning heads back to the financial problems, back to financial statistics, and again we start hearing inflation in the United States, which is really the big headache for the Fed and the Biden administration, so in general for government authorities. So with the price action on the markets that we see, it seems that investors currently start understand undervaluation of the inflationary risk and inflationary pressure in the United States. Gradually it is becoming more evident, and the performance of the gold market makes me think that, it seems that investors slightly start to understand that probably efforts of the Fed might be not enough to control the inflation, at least in the first stage in March. And that might explain why the gold market keep going higher. So despite that rate change stands on the table, now people arguing about 25 points, 50 points. I am tending to idea of the 50 points in March, because I suggest that even if it will be 75 points or the whole percent, it will be not enough to control the inflation from the Fed. And rising just for half of the percent, 50 points, it also will be not really significant measure. And that should become, by my personal opinion, that should become more evident right after the Fed March meeting, somewhere in April, May. So, and it seems that investors start to suspect something, because it explains why the gold market moves together with the interest rates. So if you take a look at the cross-market analysis, you will see that the interest rates are not dropping. Actually, it stands flat. And when this madness with the Ukraine invasion had been silenced recently, is eased, you do not see any relief or something of that sort. It stands flat. Dollar index also showing the upward performance. So you can see that we have the bullish reversal bar here. Yes, it was retracement for the sessions, but today we also discussed in the euro currency video that we've got the bullish grabber that also suggests possible upward action here. And what is more interesting is that interest rate in gold is rising with the real interest rates together. That happens very rare, actually never, except some moments where it is really strong driving factor. So currently it was the geopolitics that makes pressure on interest rates and on gold simultaneously. But in general, it makes me think that something stands behind this in the financial sphere as well, and I suspect that this is the real inflationary pressure that it is undervalued currently in the minds of the investors. And investors currently trying to revalue, make an adjustment on the view, and be prepared. So all this stuff brings uncertainty to the future, and that makes demand for gold stands on relatively high level, moderately supported. So that makes me think that I'm tending to idea that probably gold could try to go higher, because overall performance here that we see, especially this last acceleration, the way how market responds to the top. So you can see we do not see any clear reversal after the version race of this top. stops have been grabbed, but market stand flat and returning back to the top. This is mostly reminds the consolidation near the major top, and usually this is the sign of coming breakout. Right above the market we have the really big area, big cluster of the targets. First of all, it will be the butterfly around 1910. Next one is a major OP of 1925. You can see this A, B, deep C points, but this is important OP target that we could get. Another minor ABCD pattern with the OP around 1945 and 161 of the same butterfly. Also, you could find a lot of more different patterns. For instance, you could find this large butterfly pattern, right? So with even more extended targets. But currently, approximately around in an area of the 1910, 1925 to 1930 is on average. This is the targets where market is tending to. So in a shorter term perspective, what we need to keep an eye on. So here's actually we need to get the answer whether market will turn down still, show deep retracement, because yesterday we haven't got the bread and butter trade and actual market was not able to close below the 3x3, or we will get the breakout. To understand that, to make the conclusion what will happen, you need to control on the 4-hour time frame chart this level. So this is, you can see approximately 1880, because here we have two different OPs, this minor ABCD and this large ABCD. Both ABCDs suggest that the upward direction later could continue just because we have the very strong acceleration to the OP. Here is minor pattern, it's even more evident. Here is not as evident, but still you can see definitely CD-like acceleration. When you see this, it means that later, whether retracement happens or not, market has growing chance to proceed higher to the XOP target, which is basically, if you'll take a look at it, you calculate by yourself the targets, you will see that XOP from this pattern also stands approximately around 1920 area. So that being said, how we could use these OP targets? If market intends to show deeper action, it should show some kind of diversion, so it should hit the OP targets and then show the sharp reversal. In this case, it will look here we will probably should get some kind of double top, but on the daily chart that should start looking as a double repo sell. Or better to say not on the daily, on the follow time frame chart still. So right, yesterday we talked about the bread and butter, now it might be kind of the double repo sell pattern and start deeper retracement. If market hits the OP and either will break it up and keep going higher or turning to some sideways action near the OP, it means that market is preparing to break out and no deep retracement happens. How you could act with this scenario? If you would like to take the long position but you do not know how to better do this, you could use, for instance, using the stop buy order, so you could place it above the OPs somewhere around 1885, maybe 1883. So if market will break it up, you will buy right on the moment of the breakout, and if market keep going higher, you just manage your risk on this position. And additional, together with this pattern or separately, you could use the limit buy order, but it's not necessary to play it right now, so we just need to wait. If downside action starts, you could return back to this idea later when retracement shows the progress. But currently at this moment, it's more important what will happen with this OP target. So that's actually what we intend to keep an eye on today. Personally, I suggest that, well, at least I have some sense that feeling that market will try to break it up. So based on this action, raising with this recent drop, acceleration, well, good resistance to the external, some bearish moments, well, it's probably, we could see it today. Anyway, just follow the things that we have just discussed and be careful, watch for signs that we have mentioned in this video, and especially what will happen around these two different OPs of the 1880 area.